Welcome to the deep dive. Just take a second and think about it, the sheer amount of information hitting us constantly.
Oh, absolutely. Every second.
Sights, sounds, feelings, smells. Our brains are just soaking it all up. But how? How do we actually make sense of all that
Yeah.
incoming stuff?
Right.
And maybe even more interesting, how do we figure out how to respond? What's that hidden process, turning raw data into what we actually do?
Yeah, what's the mechanism there?
Exactly. So today, we're really getting into a powerful way of looking at this, and it comes straight from NLP, the mind's information flow. Our mission here is to unpack this fascinating model. It explains how our minds take in information, interpret it, and then, respond.
It's a great model.
It really feels like a shortcut to understanding why people behave the way they do, including yourself.
And what's so useful about the NLP approach here is that it's not just abstract theory. It gives us a pretty clear flow chart, almost.
A flowchart of the mind.
Kind of. Yeah, it shows the stages information goes through inside the brain. How we get from just sensing something to actually, acting or reacting.
Okay, let's get into it then.
Yeah.
So this information flow, where does it start? I mean, is it just out there, or is there a specific doorway into our own heads?
Good question. It really starts with something quite simple on the surface. Sensory input.
Sensory input.
This is the raw data.
Okay.
The very first point of contact with the world outside. Think of it like the brain's inbox, before anything gets sorted or deleted.
And this input, NLP uses that term VHUG, right?
That's the one, VCOG.
Visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory.
Exactly. What you see, hear, feel, touch, and internal feelings to smell and taste.
So everything, absolutely everything you experience, whether you notice it or not, comes in through one or more of these 5 channels, like data ports for the brain.
Perfect analogy. Seeing red, hearing a bird sing, feeling warmth, smelling coffee, tasting it, all VCOG. But, and this is where it gets really, really interesting and kind of changes how you see things.
Okay.
That raw sensory stuff, it isn't just passively received, like downloaded as is. No. Imagine your brain is like a bouncer at a really exclusive club. The moment that input arrives, the brain jumps into action. It starts filtering, processing.
Ah, okay. So it's not a blank slate just absorbing?
Not at all. It's immediately selective. And these internal filters, they're incredibly powerful. They're based on this whole complex mix of things like, well, your values.
My values, like what I think is important.
Yet your past memories, the language you use shapes it too, lots of other internal patterns. And here's the kicker. These filters actually shape your perception before you even consciously realize what you're seeing or hearing or feeling.
So it's happening automatically.
Instantly. It means we're never really experiencing a purely objective reality. It's always our reality. Why does cilantro taste great to some people and like soap to others?
No.
That's a simple example, right? But it shows those internal filters are constantly working, shaping everything. Taste buds, deep beliefs, all of it.
That's huge. So these filters are working before I even think about it. Does that mean we're sort of pre-programmed? Or is there room to change how we perceive?
Well, that's the profound part, isn't it? It highlights the power of this model. We do have these automatic filters, absolutely.
Right.
But just knowing they exist, understanding them, that's the first step toward having some agency, some choice.
Okay.
Because once that raw data passes through those personal filters, the brain does something else. It doesn't just file it away. It moves to step 3, creating an internal representation.
An internal representation, what does that actually mean?
Think about it like this. Your brain isn't just recording the filtered data. It's actively constructing its own unique version of reality, an internal map.
My own map, based on what got through my filters.
Precisely. And that map is your subjective reality. It's not necessarily the objective truth out there, whatever that might be. It's your truth.
Okay, so my brain builds its own map of what's going on based on my filters. What then? What's the effect of having that map?
Well, that internal representation, that map you've just created, it directly influences the very next stage, the formation of an emotional state, how you feel about the information, about that map you've built. It's a direct result of how your brain processed and represented it.
So it's not the external thing directly causing the feeling?
Not directly, no. It's your internal map of the thing that leads to the feeling. And that insight is massive, right?
Yeah.
Because it means if you can somehow shift the map, you can shift the feeling. There's a point of influence there.
Wow. Okay, so if our map creates our emotional state, can we just think ourselves happy? Or is it more complicated? It sounds powerful, but maybe a bit daunting.
It's definitely more complex than just, deciding to be happy, but it shows you where the levers are, where the potential for change actually lies.
Okay.
And this whole intricate internal journey starting with the senses.
Right, VA code.
Through those personal filters.
Values,
Or your unique internal map, your representation.
my version of reality,
And then the emotional state that arises from that map.
how I feel about it.
All of that finally leads to the last step, the observable part, your external response.
Behavior.
Your actions, what you say, your body language. That's the end result, the ultimate output of that entire internal process we just walked through.
So if we zoom out, this model gives us a kind of roadmap. It helps explain not just what we do, but why we react like we do, and why others do too.
Exactly right. That's the overarching goal here. By breaking down our experience into these stages, input, filter, map, state, behavior model, helps us understand it better.
And maybe even influence it.
And critically, yes, potentially influence it. This detailed picture gives us powerful insights into why we do what we do and why others react in ways that might seem confusing sometimes.
Because they're not reacting to the situation as we see it.
They're reacting to their internal map of it, which might be very different from yours based on their filters.
Right. So thinking about the listener now, what does this all mean for you? This isn't just some, academic theory.
No, it's very practical.
It really is. It could be a real aha moment in your everyday life. Think about it. Next time you have a strong reaction to something.
Or you see someone else react strongly.
Yeah, or you just can't understand why someone's acting a certain way. Try running it through this model in your head. Ask yourself, okay, what sensory info came in?
VA cog.
What filters might be active here, for me or for them? What values, memories, beliefs could be shaping this perception?
What internal map did that create?
And how did that map lead to the feeling, the emotional state?
And then finally, the behavior you observed.
Doing that helps us see that what feels like reality is actually, a really personalized construction.
Yeah.
And just knowing that awareness,
Yeah.
that's the first step toward having more choice, isn't it?
It really is. Awareness is key.
So we've just walked through this NLP communication model. We've sort of demystified how our brains handle reality from that first sensory hit all the way to what we actually do.
Yeah.
So really